The Tea Party movement is bold and brash, and it's really having an impact. It's an honest expression of the people's will and its frustration, the frustration of the American people as well. But I got to tell you, nobody likes any of these parties. The Democrats, I mean, they're like, they're pariah. They are just, they're Harry Reid and Nancy Pelosi. I mean, they're more welcome fungus than Democrats, for crying out loud. And Republicans, I mean, I got a kick out of a report in the Washington Post about Michael Steele, the chairman of the Republican National Committee, not wanting to associate. Can you just see this? Associate with those unwashed Tea Party people. Because they're just hardworking, regular, middle-class Americans. And hell, Michael Steele's used to hanging around all of the fancy K Street lobbyists. The folks bringing in about $3 billion a year. Before this thing even gets started, we got another problem. I mean, the Tea Parties grew out of a frustration with a lack of representation in Washington, D.C., a frustration with the elites in this country. And the elites, even those that are trying to work with the Tea Parties and kind of capitalize on that energy and that expression of will, but they can't help themselves. They got to be elites, and that's creating some problems. Only in my book, folks, honest to God, I think it's wonderful because everybody's sort of showing their true colors here. Elitists, be damned. And the people, rise up. It's what 2010 is all about. And I'm not talking about a bunch of nonsense here. I'm talking about the real deal. Folks are going to start crowding into those city hall meetings. They're going to be crowding into those school board meetings. They're going to say, well, why in the hell are you teaching out of that textbook? Why in the world aren't you teaching about? Well, the whole deal is in North Carolina, they still want to teach just from 1877 on in American history, kind of skip over that the discovery of North America, the colonial period, the Revolutionary War, the War of 1812, the Indian Wars. Move on right through. I'll forget about that Civil War thing. That's just an inconvenience in our history. Start with 1877 and Rutherford B. Hayes. Folks, if there were ever a time for a Tea Party, I think that it's an idea whose time has arrived. I was reading somewhere there are like 80 different organizations involved in what is the Tea Party movement, the Patriot movement, the Freedom movement. These are good words. I like these words. Independent, Tea Parties, freedom. These words work for me. How about you? It just feels so right. In 2010, with everything that's going on in this country, it's starting to feel like maybe, just maybe, we got a shot at getting our country back, our government back, and stopping the nonsense. Oh, golly, the left is going to start squealing, let me tell you. Oh, they're just going to squeal. They thought they had this thing down. They thought they had the game played. And the next thing you know, what happens? That individual freedom, that individual expression asserts itself in our body politic, our society, and doggone the luck. The hard left-wing turn that President Obama wanted to take the country in, but for which now he wants to kind of, be charming and sweet about, that ain't going to happen. And as a result, you're starting to see some Democrats who had a hard edge with that left kind of burnished up, bright and brassy. They're starting to be a little more tolerant of us ignorant folks in the middle, the folks who just want to, public schools that work, who want the equal opportunity for jobs across the board in this country, equal rights. And we're not too pleased with the way some folks have decided to kind of divvy up the cake. Well, let's start with the current administration, which apparently thinks it wants to move, apparently has decided it wants to move as many resources as possible to unionized folks, and apparently preferably if they're in the public sector, working for a government job, and let those private sector rum-dums kind of pay for everything else. That sort of seems to be the sense. And be sure you keep plenty of money there for redistribution. That seems to be also a very popular idea in this administration. Of course, the previous administration was quite content with just moving the money to the elites. They just wanted to push it over to, I was going to say to Wall Street, but this administration loves Wall Street every bit as much, maybe more so. I mean, it's hard. You don't want to get caught between a Democratic leader and a Republican leader, and between them and Wall Street, because they're going to give Wall Street a hug, and you're going to get crushed. That's been our experience here for some time. So I'm feeling pretty good. Now today I'm feeling very, very good, because I get the sense that we haven't lost this country. Hell, we haven't got it back yet. I understand that. But we do, I believe, we do have, I think, a path to follow that will stop the takeover, stop the sellout, and maybe, just maybe, bring back representation.